Oh, can you hear that?
I think I can hear it.
What can you hear?
I think I can hear it.
It's the golden
Hour, baby. We're back again.
In 2024.
2020. Oh, is this the first one of the new year? Okay.
End of the month.
Getting
Start it up.
spicy, yeah. New year, new us.
Yeah. How do we feel?
The same.
Not much different, I suppose. But I mean, it's always nice to kind of just have like a fresh slate, though. I feel like that's what I usually look forward to with the new year. It's kind of just an excuse to be like, okay, now I can start.
Is it like a new year, new you, Josh?
Yeah, but less cringe, maybe.
I don't know about that. But pretty.
I like to think New Year's as a new way just to reset your motivations. You know, realign your goals. I'm not saying you have to set new ones or any of that. Just like if you got something that you've been meaning to do, there's no better time to do it.
What are you? You doing anything new?
New, just trying to be more healthy mainly.
That's fair, yeah.
That's a good one.
I feel like that's like the foundation that seems to work for me. Like the more I focus on my health, the more everything else gets.
Have you joined like the January gym group? You know, like when everyone goes to the gym in Jan.
No, I do weights at home, and then I've started walking, and once I fix my bike, I'll get back out on my bike. But gym's never appealed to me that much. I just kind of like just being at home, half an hour.
Fair. It's annoying when there's loads of people in there and you can't get what you want to do.
Yeah.
That's annoying because that's usually what it's like whenever I go to the gym. Now it's just like every single bench you need or weight machine is just taken. And I think it is because of that January thing, like everyone's now there. So it might die down a little bit.
If I lived closer to one, then maybe, but like just having to get there, it's just that extra little bit. I'm like,
It's the mindset in it. Like sometimes you just got to go gym earlier on in the day. You know, it depends what time you go in it. Like,
Wake up.
I don't go gym, evidently. But if I did go gym, I'll go like early morning. I'll just wake up early and go. That way you got the whole day. Because like, say if you go at the end of the day, you're tired from the day, innit? All you want to do is go home, cook, chill out, relax, and all that.
But could you not argue that if you go at the gym at the start of the day, then you're tired for the rest of the day? Because you knackered yourself out.
Depends on the person.
point that you're...
What if you're knackered halfway through work though? And you're just like, oh, I'm knackered because I did loads of deadlifts today, this morning. So I can't really hold the camera. You're like, you should have gone after.
I guess it's like routine though, isn't it? Like, I guess for me, if I was going to do gym, gym don't interest me. So I want to get that done first.
I feel like it needs to be like, you need to have a strong motivation to like keep up with the gym, because that's like what I'm guilty of. Like I'll have peaks of motivation. I'll get started, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do this. But then there's actually maintaining that and then keeping it consistent. That's the only way you're going to really get results.
Yeah. Yeah, you just got to be dedicated.
Yeah, exactly.
And plus, we create enough gym content anyway for like one of our clients. So that technically, that is our workout.
Yeah, I always feel so bad about myself whenever we film like a gym workout and then we're seeing all these like really dense people and I'm like, oh, mate, now I feel weak.
Nah, you got the power.
Got the power.
I think the social aspect's good of the gym.
Yeah.
But every time we've worked with gym, like franchises or whatever, they always like have a good laugh and get on. It's got a lot of really nice, friendly atmosphere.
Yeah. I think that's been like,
And you get lots of different people as well.
everyone
Like all kinds of ages.
Different vibe.
Like when we went on that gym shoot before, there was that guy who'd like said he'd just retired. And he's telling me he goes like every day. Like every morning, he's down the gym. Fair play to you.
Yeah, that's like.
As soon as you retire as well.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God.
What did you do before? Or is it
I can't remember.
Too many questions.
I think he did tell me, but I can't remember.
No.
It's too busy focusing on the camera work.
One thing I've loved so far about 2024, even though we've been doing it for about 25 days or whatever day we're on now, is carrying on with the skits we started.
Oh yeah, the skits are good. I've been enjoying them because we've sort of just wanted to make a more fun stuff for our social media sort of accounts, because I think that's what translates well to people who are seeing our content. And the big thing is as well, like with these like social media platforms, is that the whole purpose of them for most people while they're going on these apps is to be entertained. So it's usually harder to like get your content to be seen if you're focusing on it being like advertising. You're kind of like, oh, the reason I'm putting this video out there is so that people just know about me. They're learning about me, which can work, but you need to realize why people are on the app in the first place, which is to be entertained. So if you hit that nail on the head straight off the bat, then whatever you feed them afterwards is a lot easier.
Yeah, I think that's especially like you're saying, when we were at uni doing film as well. It's just fun to be able to bring that into that aspect, because that's what we all kind of like, creating little entertaining skits anyway when we were making stuff. So being able to actually bring that into Goldbox and give it a purpose.
Exactly.
Because, you know, people You've had people come up saying you're doing some good acting here, Josh.
Yeah.
You're the only one, but
I'm going to get into my acting career now, lads. This is just a portfolio for me.
yeah, you're building your portfolio up and you're going to ditch us.
Yeah.
I'm going to Hollywood, boys. Which has been your favourite skit we've done so far?
So far, to be fair, the most recent one that's not out yet, maybe by the time this podcast comes out, but the most recent one we filmed, the AI skit, was definitely one of my favorite ones because the whole concept is that we just couldn't think of a video idea. So we turned to AI to create the video idea for us. And in the actual video, we fully relied on whatever AI was going to give us to be our script for the video. Yeah. Definitely came up with some questionable choices, but it made an entertaining video nevertheless.
That's the idea. We had to like make it a bit more specific on there because it was very loose.
Yeah, like the moment you're like, oh, create a advert for a video production company, that's like nowhere near enough information for it to actually be applicable to what you need it for. You have to really like feed it the fine details for it then to actually kind of be usable, I suppose.
Yeah, and just to clarify, Ben will be in one of the skits in the future.
Yeah, I've not been in one yet.
Yeah, it's coming soon.
I'm waiting for the comments to come and say, that's why there's 4 of you.
He will be on it. We've got one lined up. Juicy.
Yeah. As long as I don't look cringe, then.
They're always a little bit cringe. It's part of the fun. Comedy.
I'll work my way up to it.
I think my favourite one was probably the colour grading one.
Colour grading one.
Because it made me laugh.
Oh yeah.
We've been thinking about doing that. Wanted to do that for yonks.
That was like one of our first kind of like short film ideas to do with the business. And we like sort of spitballed the idea way back when. Like when we started the business. Old house, the Goldbox house. We all lived there. And like, yeah, it was sort of like an idea we floated around and then finally came to us actually coming up with skit ideas. I'm like, you know what, that's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Fleshed it out. Solid video.
But right, I suppose with these skits as well, it's like gives us a bit of space to play with new things or just do something that we wouldn't do it. Because obviously we're not going to, a client's video do certain things because that's a proper product. Whereas with this, we can actually
get to create freedom.
Yeah.
And it's enjoyable. Like, and it's funny. And it's like, gives us a chance to actually put a personality into it. It's 100% us, you're not working towards a brief.
Yeah.
Anything like that.
Yeah.
So.
Because I struggle to like try out new ideas when I'm working on a project. But if I'm just working on my own, like not for a project, I find it way easier to just experiment. Whereas when it's a project, I'm like,
you can do what you
want to get it done.
Yeah. Not controlled in terms of, you know what the output and what the final result has to be. So you've just got to meet that. Whereas like yours, it can be whatever you want.
Yeah.
The only limitations are your mind.
Ooh. You got me there, bro.
But no, it's good. And as I said, like kind of touching back onto like our roots and stuff, making this pretty much just like a bunch of short films, really, aren't they? But they're like extra short films. And that's it. There's still like cinema as well, so it's on brand for us.
Yeah, like the one we did at Christmas, just literally getting a Christmas tree. I think we already spoke about that one, but it's just little things like that. It's, you know, adding just a bit of cinematic flair to just a simple thing.
Yeah. Like I like the idea of doing as well, almost along the line of the skits. It's just like mundane tasks, day-to-day tasks, but making it cinematic. And like it just kind of shows our like skill capability that we can just take the most boring, what you would expect a boring video to be.
That like in that golden box one, it was literally we just were walking down the street and there's a box and Oren was like, does anyone want a box? And then we're like, well, you can do something with this box.
We can make a film of
We can paint it gold and now call it Golden Box.
Yeah.
And the idea was born.
Yeah, literally, that's the thing. Like, it literally within a few hours, it went from just this idea of a video coming into our mind to then the final video being made.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Exciting times.
Yeah.
Such a luxury.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like being able to say, oh, I just want to make this idea. And I have to go through hoops and hurdles and say, oh, can I please do this, please? Or can I please do that? You just say, oh, screw it. I'm going to make this today. And just do it.
Yeah, that is what I love about like our job is that it just makes that kind of process so much easier. Like we just have the equipment here, we have the office here, we have the facilities. Like if we just ever have any creative ideas, just like that, you do it.
So yeah, just whoever you got, even just do a quick voiceover for a video or something. Right, like with your little temporary little sound setup.
My little like recording studio. That's the thing. Whenever we send voiceovers to clients, I imagine they think we were in like a full studio, but really I'm just there with 2 pillows, a blanket, and a microphone. I'm just like.
Yeah, nah. Your voiceovers are pretty funny and good, to be fair, though. Considering, like, it's just to put over one of our videos and whatnot.
Yeah.
It still does the job.
Mate, I think, like, when you really look into, like, the levels of audio and, like, how you can layer them onto the top of each other and then layer them with the visuals, it just really adds to making a better video. And sound effects is definitely where I've kind of tried to delve into a bit more, just experimenting, seeing how you can add depth to a video.
Yeah, because I was literally having a talk with a client like a few weeks back, and they were talking about one of the things that they enjoy about what we do, or like the content we create that stands out from others, is the fact of like just the simple things as sound effects. Because you don't realise, if you watch a video and you got sound effects you haven't known before, like you're not going to notice it. But as soon as you hear the sound effects on it, you're just losing everything without that. It's like, it just adds so much detail to everything. Even if you can't see it and you can hear it, you know that something's happening there or something's building up.
Yeah.
Feels richer.
Yeah. It's like,
it is like half the job when you think about it, like sound. It's like visuals, sound. It's kind of the two things that make a video.
yeah, like choosing a badass song to put over a video, something to get you pumped and ready.
That's the worst part of our videos, man.
What, trying to find something?
Getting the right song.
Hours going on art list, it's like that one. And it's like, oh.
Yeah, especially when you think you found the song and you throw it into the edit and then it doesn't match out. You're like, oh, and then you're back to square one. Got to find a whole other song again.
And then you get the feedback. Can you please change the song?
Oh my God.
It's like,
Sometimes it's better though.
sometimes it is, but then it's just like I've edited the entire video to be on pace with the song.
Yeah.
And now I've got to change it.
That is the editor's nightmare. Like sending the final draft of the video and they're like, yeah, it's great. Just change the song.
Or when the song's just, they want it like really basic. Yeah. Like I get certain industries now, I'm just like, yeah, you need like fairly simple beat, nothing like too like experimental. But I think for like a promo, you want something that just stands out and has like loads of different highs and
Like quick
lows and
So that's cool. Like the thing I've noticed, like when editing, or so like you got like say really fast beats like do 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 do, and then it goes like a slow thing. You just have a shot that just matches with that movement, and just that kind of thing. I don't know what it is, but just like the movement going with the music and that it just adds. I don't know. It just makes me like happy.
Yeah, because you can like connect so many different dots with that. Like when you got those like little bits in the music where it does like slow down, just like use a shot that's in slow mo and stuff, and then like it emphasizes different levels of things. And it all just complements each other once it's all together as well.
I remember when we was ages ago messing with Artlist, where we get all our music stock footage from. When we did, like, I remember we used like trying to do a competition thing with them. So you're like putting together stock footage with music and create a video for them to rate it. But I remember when, because I thought I'd have a mess as well, and I remember like you put loads of different clips together to try and make a narrative or whatever with it. But then the fun part I had was putting different songs over it.
Yeah.
Because a song, like when you're saying it's like half the job, like the music or like the sound effects, it's like I felt different emotion to what I was watching depending what the song was. So at one point I could feel like, I feel it's all gangstery or like Mission Impossible vibes. And at another point it just, depending on the song, you just like feel sad. Yeah. Or like angry or like it just affects your emotion so much.
Absolutely. There's like so many different things that like convey emotions without you even realizing it until you see it in comparison to things like color grading as well is the same sort of thing. Like that can convey certain emotions.
It could be really vibrant and holiday kind of vibes or summery, or really dark and grey.
You've got the blue tones, it's like kind of horror-y. Yeah, or if it's like orange, then you know it's in Mexico.
Only Mexico.
Yeah, only ever Mexico. It has to be in complete tungsten orange. Once you like kind of first get into sound effects and implementing it, you're like, oh, this is sick. You throw on everything. But then you kind of realize like sometimes it can be a bit of a sensory overload if you've just got every single thing's got a sound effect. So you kind of have to like have that almost common sense of like when feels right to have sound effects and when feels right to kind of drop it.
Yeah, you don't want to overdo it.
Yeah.
It's like I find it annoying in films where they just always have music in the background.
Oh yeah.
Like when they're just talking, I just like it to just be silent and then music for like more intense emotions.
Or trying to build it up.
Set something. When you don't need music, just keep it out. Don't just put some in there just because. It's got no point being there.
That's true.
I think everything should have. I think everything should have a point. In like an ideal world, you should be able to look at every little thing and be like, I used this because of this. Yeah.
Yeah. So if someone just came up to you, why is that there? You better have an answer. Yeah. Or else there's no point.
No point. Got to serve the narrative. I think that's the thing. That's like the way I think of video is it's layers. Like you've got like your visual layers, your audio, like audible layers, all those layers. But I think the thing that like binds it together is the story. Like it's like when you get like a bunch of people trying to create an idea, but it's not meshing together because there's all sorts of different opinions.
Too many chefs in the kitchen.
Whereas like just one person's vision like is more authentic.
Yeah.
I think.
That's what I've never kind of understood with, like with TV shows when they have like multiple directors on different episodes, have a different
Yeah.
How does that work? Because surely they all have their own kind of vision idea of how they want an episode to be, but they've also then got to keep in line with what's happened in previous episodes.
Like
What about
TV? They do. Obviously, you've got like a head writer. Who's the guy's responsible to making sure like the narrative is consistent throughout, and then each individual writer and then just writes an episode.
Yeah.
And just make sure it ties in with the main story.
Yeah.
So like I guess the lead writer would say, I want it to hit these beats.
Yeah,
So I want the characters to go from here to here within this episode. And as long as you hit these couple of minor beats on it.
So that'd be like surely that'd be quite a bit of pressure though as a director going in and say or going to that because you've got to stick to certain. You can't
there's a
just fully
standard
do
to
what you want to do, right? You've still got to stick to something.
Yeah, I feel like there's always like a bar you have to reach.
Sure, I feel like with what you're saying, like sometimes there could be too many people. Surely that could, I don't know, certain shows that would be an aspect of it's not as good because I've got to stick to what's already been set.
The best evidence is obviously like the latest Star Wars films that came out. J.J. Abrams did episode 7, and then some other guy did episode 8, and then J.J. Abrams went back to 9, and then the story just wasn't consistent throughout.
it's just
So that had a massive detriment on it because they didn't have one consistent writer.
Yeah.
But then like some TV, I reckon that sort of format works better for TV shows because you're not going to have one director directing like 10 individual episodes. You can do, but
Yeah, like in TV shows, I think it's easier to have different directors for the episodes because don't you usually have like a creator? Like on IMDb, it'll say like this show's created by.
Yeah.
Then you have a bunch of writers.
Yeah. Because I know it.
Kind of like a top producer kind of role.
Yeah.
In The Office, they often have either like guest writers or people just from the cast of the main show write certain episodes.
It's an American one.
In the American Office, so like even Bryan Cranston, Breaking Bad, that whole guy,
Oh yeah.
he came in and he just wrote an episode once.
did he?
Yeah, so they just like bring in different people. I think just to get those like fresh ideas
Yeah.
and like different people's interpretations of what the story could say.
Because that's the thing, talking about The Office, who's the guy in it, the guy who plays Jim?
John Krasinski.
Yeah, well, I was looking earlier and the film he directed, wrote.
Quiet Place.
Yeah, Quiet Place. So Quiet Place 1 and 2 directed all that. So then I saw there's a third one coming out this year. But he's not even directing it. He's literally like second writer on it.
Oh.
How does that work?
Yeah.
'Cause it's his thing though.
I think, is it a film though, or is it a series? Because
I think it's a film. It's a film.
It's a trilogy. Well, this is his third film, so it'll be a trilogy.
Oh, wow.
It's called weird.
But he's having, as long as
Sold out.
he's a second writer, so at least he's having an input on it. But even
Yeah.
so, he should be.
That's his baby.
That's his baby. You know?
Yeah, I suppose maybe unless they're going for a different turn with the film and he wants like somebody else's touch on it to kind of emphasize
Maybe
that.
it's just like the amount they have to commit to it. Because I think with the first one, I saw Emily Blunt like saying that they both had to just invest so much of their time like on the first one, like pretty much like a whole year. And obviously, they got a family, so like having to work together and like raise their family, maybe it was just too much.
Yeah.
With all their other films and stuff as well.
That's probably why he offed himself in the first film.
Oh, spoilers.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I don't think it'll be as good though.
Nah, I mean, to be fair, the second one was good.
I thought the second was better than the first one.
Really, I prefer the first one.
I like they were both like good in different ways. I always feel like John Krasinski's just a satisfying actor to watch. I don't know what it is, but seeing him on screen is just satisfying.
Because he's so beautiful.
He's just a beautiful man.
Yeah, Cillian Murphy in the second one as well.
Yeah, and he was great in that as well.
Oh yeah.
Can't go wrong with him, to be fair.
Seems like a good guy as well. Like, do you remember in COVID where he did like that news show? Where it was like I don't know if it was I don't think it was for kids, but it was quite like upbeat and anyone could watch it, like families or anyone, like just it was just about like positive stuff going on in the world during COVID. I think I watched a couple of them and it was like
I always think
it was a breath of fresh air.
It'd be nice to like just have news stations and outlets where they just focus on the positive news, not to like be ignorant of any bad news that's going on, but just it'd be nice to have news that's not always like, look at all the bad that's going on in the world. You should be scared.
I think it's just social media, ain't it? Like that's kind of like the method they use is just negativity gets like attention more. But that's why
loads of people, I don't know, my TikTok's probably different to your man's one, but like on my one, loads of people are doing all this sort of positive real world stuff instead of saying, here's a depressing narrative, and here's what it's actually like, and here's the positive sides of it, and here's the downsides of it. So it's way more authentic. I think mainstream news hasn't done that.
Yeah.
But people have gone away from it. It's like people watch less TV probably than, well, they do watch less TV than used to. It's all streaming platforms, isn't it? Or
well.
no one's really has that reason. It's like even say the radio. People probably listen to podcasts most of the time in a car, not the radio. But while we're on TikTok, I've got to bring up, because when we're on about this content and all that, so like, what are you guys' thoughts on influencers or people who create this social content for brands or selling? Because I've got one example of someone I want to talk about, because it's all over my TikTok, and I can't stop watching it, because I actually do love the content. It's Spudman.
Spudman.
Have you heard of him?
Something, I'm assuming something to do with potatoes.
You told us earlier.
You got it.
Okay.
He literally has a spud van in Tamworth and just put some beans and some potatoes, and he'll give them the beans and potato. Now, over the space of I think it's 5 months, maybe 4, he's built up over to 1 million people on his TikTok, to the point he can give most of his potatoes away just to people for free now, because he's getting all his money from TikTok coming through.
So is he streaming it, or is he making videos?
Yes, he streams it live, so then people are giving coins
Is it
and
like
stuff
the
away.
POV ones where they like...
Yeah, so he has a GoPro on, and because I've got to say, I know in my head it's literally a spud, but I'll watch every of those. I enjoy it. But he did it.
Does he have a spatula or something? Is it one of them ones where he's just like...
You see him he got a scooper, he gets his beans, scoops on and gets loads of cheese, loads of butter.
Okay, so is he an impressive Spudman, or is he like a bog
Yeah,
standard
because
Spudman?
after I started watching him, I saw another channel called Spud Brothers.
Okay.
So
And they do the same thing. But obviously they're all kind of just building it up their thing. However, he makes that much, interest through TikTok and all that. He did a free Spud day this Saturday, and apparently the queue was over 4 hours long of just literally people queuing for a Spud. And they had that created though this thing in Tamworth so you had different people setting up stalls just for this Spud day. You had different businesses coming in with these drinks, giving it around to the queue. And they created this whole community thing. How mad's that? Just from a potato man.
Yeah.
Depends what sort of angle you're looking at it from, though, isn't it? On a community level, stuff like that's great, isn't it? Say if you're a company and you want to hire an influencer to do stuff, that's just short-term marketing, because that's only going to be as successful as long as the influencer themselves is trending.
That's true.
I feel like their life,
Sustainable, isn't it?
I feel like their lifespans are so short.
Yeah, and I feel like
It's you got a product, sell it really quickly, and then move on to the next.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think it's a great thing to do to give it away for free, but I don't, logically, I don't know why he would have then just it being a nice thing. If people are willing to pay, you've got a business there, you can reinvest your money, create franchises, whatever you want. I don't think it's a bad thing to ask for
He doesn't just give away Spuds for free. He also, sometimes, he'll give them whatever their order's worth, them the cash in hand. So say if their order's £9, he goes, "Oh, don't worry, it's free on TikTok today." Also, here's £9.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So he'll pay them
because it gets more views on TikTok.
Yeah.
I don't want to be pessimistic, really.
You probably just built that community.
It's probably moving to TikTok now. This is my...
I'm not saying, I think it's doing very good for community.
He probably just built his audience organically, isn't it?
But that kind of shows the level of what a person or an influence can bring on a brand, though, right?
Yeah.
So that shows how mad it can be.
And the thing is as well, if you think about it, if he was to pitch that idea to anyone, he's like, I'm gonna have 1 million followers where I just upload videos of me handing potatoes out. Anyone would initially be like, that's a terrible idea. That would never work.
Yeah.
But it just proves that absolutely anything nowadays can actually go viral. You can't really dictate what social media trends are gonna push forward and everything.
Remember Mega Chippy, Binley Mega Chippy? What was it?
Yeah.
Binley Mega Chippy.
I was glad I forgot about it until you brought it up.
Yeah.
There's one I watch what I really like where he goes around to people's houses and they've got like overgrown grass in their front garden. It's awful, and he'll mow the lawn for free. And he does such a good job trimming it all up, and it's so good.
Does he ever do any shapes while he's on it?
Shape.
Yeah, does he create some designs while going around
No, he should though. But the way he does it, it's so satisfying.
Something satisfying about people doing their job, isn't there?
Yeah.
Watching people work their profession is actually a really satisfying thing for sure.
Yeah, 'cause I have another one, pool guy. Have you ever seen the pool guy?
Oh, yeah.
Just goes around cleaning people's pools and hot tubs.
It's such a cool business model when you think about it, how people can just do stuff, genuinely good stuff, but then still get paid just from people watching it. It's like the Mr. Beast model, isn't it? He
It's just passive.
started it.
I feel like a culture is probably a big part of it as well, because I know in like Japan, it's like a big trend there, or at least it used to be, where you'd watch streams where these women would just press their faces on different bread. And that was the whole thing. It was literally, you just watch hours and hours of content of these women just smushing their faces on bread. And that's the whole thing. And they would get so much money from it as well.
What kind of bread was it?
If it works, it works. isn't it?
Fluffy bread. Just good bread.
I wouldn't personally buy the bread because it's probably not hygienic.
But like,
Shout out to them though, you know.
yeah. And like with that, going to like back to the influencers and stuff as well, where you're saying like it's kind of hard to like judge how relevant they're always going to be.
Yeah.
A big part as well is like how quickly influencers get cancelled and how that's going to reflect on your brand if you get them to like be an ambassador for your
They've
product.
done something dodgy or something, and then that's then tied to your business.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's the thing. Like the moment an influencer's like the face of a brand, if they've done some dodgy stuff, then that brand's going to get boycotted now. And that was a big thing as well at the moment. Like I think it was like McDonald's. I saw they had put a statement out because the boycotting of McDonald's got so big that like they were losing a lot of money, and they had to basically make a statement saying it was to do with like the Palestine stuff, where they thought they were funding the other side, whoever the boycotting people weren't in support of, and then like Mackey's had to come out and say, we don't know where this information's come from, we don't support that, blah blah blah.
Just go back on the back.
I feel like today when you do those sort of messaging and that, you have to be so detailed in what you say. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm doing this because of this, and this is why, and this is what it's referring to. You know what I mean? You kind of have to hold everyone's hand and say, this is how it is.
I think someone's always going to find something to be upset about, though, aren't
You
they?
just sit back and think like, yes, if you're being blatantly obvious about it, should fair play you in the wrong. But like, otherwise, like, is it that deep?
It's never that.
Really? Like, well, I think Zara got cancelled a couple of months back about something very similar to that. And it's just think like, I'm pretty sure in their marketing meeting when they said, we're going to do this campaign, they didn't think, we're going to do this campaign because it's going to be highly controversial and loads of people are going to like, slag it all off. And it's like, no, man, they just thought this was going to be a cool idea. And then you get them fringe groups come in and say, oh, nah, they're doing this. It just corrupts the whole narrative.
Yeah.
Like, that's the annoying thing about like social media and all that. It's like a few people moaning is louder than like 10,000 people cheering it. You know what I mean? It's just like,
It's a powerful tool.
it is, and then there's also like people today just need to be able to make their own decision and their own opinion without having to like be the loudest voice in the room.
Yeah.
Have your opinion, but also just respect what it is and not read too much into it.
Yeah, I think some brands definitely do try and touch on the edge of like controversy to get some publicity and stuff because it helps out. But like, for example, Energy Fitness, when they put up that billboard saying, why be fat and ugly when you can just be ugly? Come to our gyms and work out. And then like that ended up in the news because people were like, that's offensive. And then, and then when
It is the best way to get like publicity. It's just shock value or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally.
So what are we going to do then?
Oh yeah, we need to do something.
We need to shock someone.
Something controversial. You better be ready for it then.
Ready for the backfire?
Yeah.
Well, you talk about how the impact of social media. Let's go. We've got Oscars coming up soon. The impact it had with Oppenheimer and Barbie. Two completely different films. And then that brought it together.
Yeah.
And now-
like a thing.
Like, what the hell? Who would have thought of that? Because I was having a little read earlier, and I was like, obviously, because you got, well, Oppenheimer up for several Oscars, which in the article they were on about how, say, like the films that normally make the biggest box office don't actually, say, win the big awards or the actual awards for like the best motion picture or best director or best actors, or say. So obviously, Oppenheimer's up for best picture this year. So the last time any film that made the box office money that they made was Lord of the Rings, which was what, like 20 years ago. Oh, wow. Which shows...
Because it's a director's vision. That's what I think. It's not made by a studio. It's like actually following one person's vision.
I feel like those,
Respecting the director.
yes, those sort of films is just like, as you said, the director's got, I hate to use the word, but clout. You know what I mean? It's, they're so well respected. The studio's got no ground to stand on and say, oh, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings, it was his vision, his adaptation, the studio's giving the money for it. Nolan, obviously like one of the best filmmakers out
Yeah.
The studio's not going to turn around and say, oh, no, you don't know how to make films.
Yeah, well, I suppose you could look at it like it's like Marvel. They made loads of money, but their films would never deserve to win an Oscar for best film.
No, because you could see right through the fact that they focus on quantity over quality. Like they're like, we just need to churn out as many Marvel films as possible. I think it's just to keep people entertained. Because I think if Marvel did stick to making one piece of cinematic content a year, then the audience probably wouldn't be as diehard for them.
But they would have better films.
But the films itself would have been better quality.
But saying that they're bringing the money, so that's all they care about, isn't it?
I feel like one studio that seems to make consistently good films is, A24.
Yeah.
They look like, every film I've seen from them looks like it's just always hitting the mark.
You can tell they must have like a specific like kind of guideline they follow when they're looking for like good scripts.
Yeah.
It's like Pixar has their whole like guidelines to how they like create a film, and they have like the Pixar rules and all sorts whenever they make a film.
Yeah, I remember doing at uni, someone came in from Pixar and he said how like challenging the writing process is when you actually go to write the idea and then to pitch it. Like they scrutinise everything on it, and I feel like these major sort of businesses don't do the same.
Yeah. Because isn't it a big thing that like people have like a good script that like they've put a lot of time and effort into. They'll take it to the studio, pitch it. They're like, yeah, we like it, but add in a lesbian sex scene or something. Yeah. And it's like, all these things that they're like, but this get the ratings and stuff. And it's like, but that's kind of taking away from the story and everything I've put this effort into. Like, well, we're not going to give you any money unless you make it a bit raunchy.
So it's because we're coming from like a filmmaker's point of view, isn't it? Like for us, the story is more important. But to the studio, it's like, what's going to give me the most amount of return?
What makes us look good?
Yeah, if I tick all the boxes, more people are going to like it, so I'm going to get more money in my pocket for it.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, isn't it? Because like, if it's a film, your story comes first, tick boxes and all that comes 10th, 11th, 12th.
Ticking boxes even be a thing? Should they even be a thought? Should you even have to tick boxes?
It depends on the subject matter, though, isn't it? Like, obviously, like some things you want to be like reasonable. But then,
but that's going to be part of the narrative anyway. So that would naturally be. You wouldn't even need to tick a certain box because that would already be part of the film. You shouldn't put something in a film that isn't part of the film just because someone's going to be happy.
Yeah. I suppose it depends on the mass of people. Like if a lot of people want to see a particular, it's so contextual. It's kind of hard to like narrow it down to you should or shouldn't be ticking certain boxes.
Trying to achieve though, like if you're trying to tick a box, you are trying to achieve a certain thing. Yeah. Whereas if you're telling a story, you're trying to be as authentic as possible. Yeah. Like you should always be trying to make it as truthful as possible. Whereas tick boxing, it's like, when we did script writing for film, like when we were at uni, it's like I remember for my first year film, I got almost failed. Second year film, I got like a first. Third year film again, I almost failed. I think I told you this like before, but I think the thing I identified which made like one so much better and the other two awful is because of the approach. Like it was actually when we met Josh, weren't it? It was like my second year script. Was it Neil that we had? The other guy. Yeah, but his whole approach is like, it's kind of like a snowball effect. You build a foundation, so you get your protagonist and your antagonist, and then you build like the environment and blah, 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 and you build it up from there. Yeah. And I remember we were like spitballing ideas and it just created this energy. Whereas like in first and third year, I had an idea of the kind of story I wanted to make. Yeah. It's like I want it to have this effect on people. Yeah. And I feel like you just warp reality to try and get to that agenda. Yeah. Whereas if you focus on the actual like human being first and then build it from there, I think it works because that's what stories are at the end of the day. They're about people.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's where you get like the rawest characters and emotions is when you build it through that development rather than like, here's the end goal, let's just figure out how we can reach that.
Did you know that one of our scriptwriter lecturers, Nigel, the other one, he was at the Golden Globes this year? Was it Golden Globes, wasn't it? Yeah, Golden Globes this year. How cool was that?
He was always quite cool. Didn't he say either he or his wife worked on like Guardians of the Galaxy?
She's a script supervisor. Yeah, so she's worked on a lot of Disney films.
That's where he worked on Star Wars as well. On episode 9. Not saying he was the reason why it's terrible, but he was on he was working on it.
Because apparently he was doing something. He was there for some Netflix show he's been doing or something like that.
Speaking of, I think this one's Netflix. Have you seen the new Jordan Peele film trailer coming out? Monkey Man. Looks pretty. Pretty much looks like John Wick.
Dev Patel was the one who wrote and directed. I don't know if he wrote it, but he definitely directs it. The main guy in it. You know, Slumdog Millionaire.
Oh yeah.
It actually looks so good.
The action in it is so good.
So it's a Netflix film.
I'm pretty sure it said it was Netflix, but I might be wrong, so don't quote me on that.
I only saw the trailer a couple of days ago, but it literally looks like John Wick set in India.
Yeah.
It's like a mixture. It feels like a mixture like Bollywood, but like Western Hollywood.
Yeah.
I first saw it because it's Jordan Peele. It's going to be like psychological thriller horror type thing. You know, I'm expecting something like Us and all that. But now I watched it, like, you know what? It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not what I was expecting from him. So
do you think we see more now, more openness to like other cultures of cinema than we ever did before? Because like, I think the big one was when Squid Games came out. Korean cinema since then just really popped.
Me and
off.
Oren been watching the series Beef on Netflix, which is A24, and that was awesome. I saw there's another show on Netflix as well. Like it looks similar style as well. And I just think, like you say, like that more Korean.
I think it was one of the actors or the writer or director from Squid Games. He pretty much said he was like, if people just got over the such small barrier of subtitles.
Director of Parasite.
Yeah, that was it. And if it was just get over the small barrier of subtitles, you'll be opened up to a world of even more great cinema.
I just watched it dubbed. I don't mind. I don't mind it dubbed.
That's the wrong way to do it, man. You just put subtitles on and you just read.
I think the subtitles
I don't mind it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's why you've got the option, is because different people are going to have different preferences. You do definitely get a lot more of the intent, the raw emotions was intended of the original actors and stuff, and how rather than getting voice actors trying to portray it. But even so, as long as you was experiencing the same story in the same film, it doesn't matter whether you watch it dubbed or subtitled.
Some people are just lazy and just can't be asked to read.
I can read.
So I'm not illiterate, just so you know.
I'm not saying you, but like some people, like there's, I just can't be asked to read, and like, I want to watch this film, not read the film. You just think about like, oh, bro, you're actually being so stupid.
I can't. I don't like having subtitles on for like normal stuff. I don't like. I do find it annoying at looking at the text.
It's a distraction, I find. Yeah.
I don't know. 'Cause I think a lot of time whenever I watch a film, I'm eating, so I feel like I hear it better if I can see the words.
If I'm watching something, I have to have subtitles on. It's probably because someone's probably talking while you're watching. I think you just tell them to shut up, mate. Just say, "Look, man, I'm watching this."
Yeah.
Please.
There's like a lot more like other countries now. Like before, they didn't have like the kind of camera equipment and resources we have. Like South Korea, I'd say, has always been pretty good for cinema, but like obviously now, as they're becoming more like well known in the world, like the world of cinema, they've got better equipment and.
Old boy.
Old boy, yeah.
Old boy is so good.
Plus, we've got the internet as well now, so people are just naturally more interconnected.
Yeah, the streaming sites, isn't it? Yeah.
Whereas I guess maybe like 30 years ago, you wouldn't really invest too much in other cultures unless you're on holiday or read a book. Whereas now we can just see all kinds of different cultures like every day. Yeah. Just all kinds of different cinema and content.
No.
Joker 2's coming out this year.
Is that this year?
Yeah, back end of the year.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited.
That's going to be a musical as well.
Oh yeah, even better.
I have no idea
Lady
how that's
Gaga.
gonna be, but it's going to be sick. And then you got Gladiator.
Deadpool 2's coming out.
Deadpool
3. 3's coming out this year.
Yeah, do you want to spoil Deadpool 2 for you?
Yeah, they're making it. Yeah, they're remaking it.
He's
Not
directing it.
Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah.
might be all right then.
I don't even know who's in it, to be honest. But I just saw that's coming out.
Yeah, and then what was that? When you said, there's one of Nosferatu.
Yeah.
We had to do
The remake.
uni on that, didn't we? Like a written work on that.
A cult classic though, so I reckon loads of people are going to see it.
It's cool casting though. They've got that guy who plays the clown in it. What's his name? Bob.
Oh.
The new it.
Yeah, like the newer it, like with the crazy eyes.
Swedish guy.
Yeah.
Scars guy.
Yeah, he's Nosferatu.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I reckon that film's going to be a sleeper for the Oscars next year.
And then it's Johnny Depp's daughter's the woman in it.
Really?
Yeah. What's her name? Lily Rose Depp.
She needs a revamp after that weekend.
Oh, that was
She
awful, that
on.
show.
What was that called again? Popstar or something?
What was it
called?
I don't even know, but it was miserable.
Yeah, it was really bad.
It was just...
The Weekend's TV show.
Yeah. It was him and Lily Rose Depp. And it's literally just them. She was a singer, and it's literally this guy who claims to be a producer, singer, and that, and tries to basically take over her music industry life, where to the point that they're all basically reliant on him.
So the description said it's like a cult.
Yeah, so he makes like a musical cult. Yeah. And then she tries to get the power back.
So why is it not good then?
It just had no substance to it. You're basically watching the same thing again and again.
Yeah, there's nothing to it.
There's a lot of nothing happening.
There's a lot of nothing.
Nah. If it was a film, like say if it were, instead of it being like 4 hours of, I don't even know how long it ended up being, but if it was just an hour and a half film, because they didn't need half of what was in it. It was just too long.
It sounds like a cool idea.
It was. It like would have been.
The first episode was
concept,
alright.
yeah.
I just wasn't expecting the rest of it to be the exact same thing.
Yeah, there's not enough to it.
Oh. Yeah, I think
It's a shame because I like the weekend. So
yeah, I think you're right. If it was just an hour and a half, you could put it down to just as like a Sunday afternoon film, which you can forget about and move on. But the fact they dragged it out over weeks and marketed it to death, you're just like, but no, hopefully when she does this film, she does good in it.
Yeah. Hey. Have you seen the new Adam Sandler film?
yeah,
coming
Spaceman.
out? Oh mate, it's like he's gone into like more like serious films now, and it looks pretty cool to be fair. Again, Adam Sandler, I feel like whenever he does something serious, it's always impressive.
Careful what you say
because-
about Adam Sandler, Josh.
I know you're a big fan of Adam Sandler. I'm not going to insult him. But he's like, and like with this film, it looks proper good because he's basically like stuck in. Well, I don't know if he's stuck in space, but he's in space.
He's like, it seems like he's having a mental war with himself while in space.
Yeah, like he's like interacting with this weird spider.
Based on a book, yeah. From what I saw for the trailer, I think that spider's like probably some like family fit, like his kid's monster that she drew or something. I don't know, but it seems it could be intense. But it looks very quite Trippy-esque.
Yeah.
It seems like there's a lot of mental. It's a very mental film.
Psychological.
Yeah, psychological.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like where it seems it's all in his, probably going to be in his head.
Yeah,
Like majority of
that's what I straight off the bat. That's what I assumed. I was like, oh, he's like hallucinating.
Yeah, he's
this.
going insane.
But it looks.
Is it just him as well?
That's what there's like other
Flashbacks
cast members
and
when flashbacks and people in communication with him at NASA or wherever. But he's like the only person in space.
That's what isolation
Yeah,
is.
mate, it looks good.
I'm going to have to go
Yeah.
watch the trailer. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it'll be on Netflix in a couple of months.
And even more important, Polar Express 2 is being made.
Really?
Yeah, they're making the second after what 20 years.
The visuals will be amazing.
Yeah,
I enjoyed Polar Express one, I gotta be honest.
I think
yeah.
it's overrated, man. Like, it's alright.
It's such a good Christmas tradition
Yeah,
film.
it is feel goody. I just feel like the actual narrative, it's like
I think
some stuff happens on the train, but at the end of the day, it's just like
They move forward.
they just go from
I mean, I've never watched
one
it
point to another
I never
and then see Santa.
It wasn't like in my rotation of Christmas films,
Mm.
so I guess I just never got that investment into it. Like, you know,
Oh, you had no childhood?
no, I did. I just had a bell.
No,
No, what are the films they're making? Has anyone played Until Dawn?
I've not played it. I've
The
seen
horror.
it. I've played some of the sequel spin-offs.
Anyway, so there's a horror game called Until Dawn. It's basically like a character narrative. You get to control a group of people up in the mountains and all that. Anyway, they're taking that and they're making it into live action. It's gonna be sick.
It's like a slasher kind of game.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
now
it's like a
slasher.
slasher.
You make
horror.
decisions, don't you, and it impacts where the narrative goes.
Yeah, and it's got actual real life actors in
It's
it.
got Rami Malek.
Rami
Malek.
Oh, the guy from Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
So I started doing rounds on Twitter. Oh, who should the casting be? I said that thing like, bro, just get everyone from the game and just put
The
them in
original
there
cast.
and just get them to read and just film it.
Yeah. Oh
Because
my
it
God.
was such a good game to play. So I reckon, hopefully, film-wise, it'll turn out really good.
That'd be good. One show that did get all the original cast back was the Scott Pilgrim animated series.
That's good.
I haven't watched it yet, but I thought that was such a cool thing that it got all of the original cast from the film to do the voices for the show.
I think I enjoyed the show more than the film, to be
Really?
honest. I don't know. It's just just good vibes, like with the music and like how the animation went with it. It's like kind of like, you know, what's that Spider-Verse film? Not similar animation, but just how it's so. I don't know, because normally when I'm watching an animation film, it's all kind of similar style, but they have their own unique style to it, and I love it.
Stylish.
It just gets me happy.
Because I suppose that the whole style thing with the Scott Pilgrim film was that it was kind of like comic booky, wasn't it? So I suppose it'll be cool to like translate that into an actual animation.
Yeah, I agree. Have you ever watched the actual film?
I watched a while ago. I watched most of it. I feel like I fell asleep right at the end. I know. I love Edgar Wright, but
Yeah, so like going back to filmmaking, I think it's like, it's always such a tough thing, isn't it? Trying to like incorporate other people's ideas. Like get the balance between like, do you go with just one person's idea or do you try and incorporate everyone's?
Yeah.
Because we've had struggles in the past, haven't we? Where like you might go with one person, but then other people don't feel involved. But then you all try and do something and you can like counteract each other.
Yeah.
It feels like one of the hardest things to do is just create that balance.
I think it all depends on what the project actually is as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, say if it's like a humorous project or something, then it comes down to people's idea of humour. Or say if it comes down to something more, I don't know, like a serious area.
Yeah.
It all comes down to what people's thinking is at in terms of, I don't know, like, because you might find something really serious or like really bad, and I'll be like, nah, that's all right.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, it's about trying to find that what is right, what isn't.
Yeah, I suppose you need to have that like initial conversation to establish like who's best to take the lead on like certain things, rather than kind of going into it being like, oh, okay, name out of the hat, you're going to lead it, or doing the other way, like, yeah, let's all get involved. It's kind of having that adult conversation of like who's going to be best fitted to kind of lead this project.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I thought we did.
I think well, not even like the best person, but just like the best idea. So I don't think like one person just consistently is always going to be the best person.
Oh.
But like someone can have an idea and everyone's like, nah, that's the best one. We'll go along with you.
Yeah.
And then you kind of build off of that and everyone goes along for the ride.
Because sometimes you could have that idea there, but then you're all trying to force another idea out because you're like, oh, nah. And it's like, but it's been here in front of us the whole time, and we just spent half an hour, 40 minutes there to try and find something when we've already got it.
Yeah.
I think if something seems good at the time, just go with it. Stop trying to force something else out.
Yeah, you do kind of have to trust your gut a lot of the time,
Yeah.
especially in just filmmaking, because it is almost all instinctual.
I suppose with what we create, though, we've kind of built that kind of where we've got a style now of Goldbox, where we know kind of, we're building those bits that we all kind of do agree on. And we know. And I suppose it's come to that way where as long as we've got those fundamentals there that we all know is what we do and bring to it, and then it's our freedom then in that realm, so to do what you want.
Exactly.
But keeping, I suppose, our style in check.
Yeah.
Because if you make a video, I make a video, and you make, we still want it to be universal that if someone watches it, they still know it's a Goldbox video.
Like you can identify it as a Goldbox video.
I'm not just like, oh, this is something completely different. Who's that? You still want to know it's Goldbox.
And that is where, like, that's dangerous territory for when you have 4 filmmakers in one group. It's like kind of being on the consensus that you all have to have the same creative, like, direction to go in.
Because sometimes you got to like sit back and just swallow your creative ego on it and just be like, it is what it is.
Yeah, because, and it's not to say that you have to like completely lose all creative control. It's more just you have to learn how you can feed it into it. Often like just planting seeds of your creativity rather than just pivoting a video to be completely what you want it to be. Just kind of interjecting it with
having your little
your
stamp
touch.
on it.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's fine. I wouldn't want like every single one of our videos to look identical to each other. So I actually quite like the idea that no matter which one of us a client video lands on, they're going to get something slightly different depending on which one of us it is. That's actually like quite a cool concept, I feel like.
Makes it more unique.
Yeah, exactly. And then, like, and that means as well, like if a client wants to come back for another video, but they're like, oh, I want it to be same sort of vibe, but slightly different. We're like, great, we'll just get another Edster on it. And that way you're getting that different touch on it.
There's also the aspect as well, like, obviously I wouldn't say we do it, but we have that capability of where we can kind of replicate other styles as well.
Yeah.
Which started doing a bit more of, say, with these skits where it's like those faster, like with you putting a bit of that Edgar Wright feel in some of them. It's like, there's different aspects we can also take if we ever needed to. Which is, I think, it's a good skill to have that. We're not just, like we're saying, oh, we've got our fundamentals of Goldbox, but we still have the capability to be able to do that kind of style of video, that style of film. Like, we're not just locked into one.
I feel like that's what creativity is. It's kind of like combining things.
Yeah.
Because nothing just comes out of nowhere. Like, you've been influenced by something, I guess. You just don't want to plagiarise and then pretend you didn't.
The worst thing I've done for that is, have you ever done it? When someone says a joke, and then about 5 minutes later you say the same joke that someone just said in the room, and then you're like, oh wait, this has already been said, hasn't it?
Yeah, and it's worse if you get the more of a laugh than the first person. You're like, oh.
There's a whole thing about that in comedy. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like there's genuine joke stealers, and then sometimes there's like people who do it unconsciously.
Yeah.
And it was like with I think it was Louis C.K. or something, like it was a genuine thing. Like this guy, Dana Cook, did a bit that sounded so much like his. And then this Dana guy's like, honestly, I did not steal it.
Just came.
Like his career got ruined. And, but he was like, he's still to this day like, no, I didn't steal it, I swear. Like, and Louis like, yeah, I think you definitely heard it somewhere. I don't know if you did it on purpose, but it was my joke.
Yeah. Thing is, I completely agree. I've been in that situation. I've said something that's already been said. Literally probably a minute before it said it.
Well, one quote that stuck to me with me when we were at uni, literally like one of our first lectures, the quote, "There are no new stories, just new ways to tell them." And that's that whole idea that like everything's already been said, like in one way or another, in all forms of written media or whatever. There's not really any new ideas. There's just new ways to tell them. Yeah. And that's something that can't really be replaced because everyone's got their own life experiences, which kind of play into how you tell a story.
You know that video we watched before where it was about like the balance of like familiarity, like people want stuff that's familiar, but then they also want new things.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of like a good balance to get.
So like what?
So like the way I view creativity is it's like new things. But if you just focus on the new, then you can like destabilize what's already been there. But if you can like have the way I view Goldbox, like just the business and just other things is like, I have like a graph in my head. So it's like, imagine a graph like that. And one is stability and one is progress. And in my opinion, like the closer you can get to the middle, the better overall like things tend to be. So if you push it too far into progress, you could destabilize what you've already built. If you try and be too stable, you just get bored and you're not excited, you're not feeling that energy. I feel like the middle, it's not even the middle, it's like the best of both of them. It's like you're elevating to a higher place.
You need that balance, like, because that's the only way you can really make true progress with stability, is to kind of use them to complement each other and like work together. I like that.
I may just be really controversial, but I don't actually think you can get that balance.
What progress and stability?
I don't think you can be perfectly 50-50 on it.
No.
I think in order to make progress, you've got to be unstable. Because how can you make progress if you're stable?
But I think it's good. I think it's true. You can never achieve full 50-50, but it's a good thing to strive towards. And then, it doesn't mean that if you kind of stray towards a bit more stability or stray towards getting a bit more progress, that's a bad thing. But making sure that you're in that direction is a good thing.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to bounce between the two to create like energy or whatever. Yeah. Like, because if it's in the middle, I just feel like that's like nothing.
So where on the graph do you reckon Goldbox is in at the moment, Dad?
I think coming out of stability to starting taking a bit more risk again. I feel like last year we were pretty stable. The year before that it was very like progress, like we need to learn so much, COVID. And now maybe the pendulum's going to swing closer to the middle.
I feel like this year's definitely the year everything's going to click into place for Goldbox, where last year I think we were kind of setting the parameters, we were focusing on our roles, responsibilities, make sure we all knew what we were doing, and then this year's just implementing it and making sure that we're actually elevating it and taking the brand to the next level.
Yeah. I think just in general, it's just going to be a big year, like in the world. I don't know what to expect, but it just feels like.
And we're actually going to, we can actually keep, document it throughout a month of our podcast. Every month we can actually, we've got to keep doing it.
Just by the end of the year, we're just all like distraught, just like 6 foot beards, just like, oh my God, man.
It's pretty great.
I'm not far off, to be honest.
Ben's hairline's gone.
My hairline's
Josh's hair down to here.
Got Jesus over here.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a good year. I am just generally excited. I think the big part of why I'm excited is that it's almost the not knowing what's going to happen. It's like,
that makes me nervous, man. Like, I like it, but like, I see like the more expectation you put out there, the more pressure is going to come your way. And also pressure's a bad thing.
Pressure creates diamonds.
Yeah, but only in rare instances, man.
And on that note.
But no, I reckon like we're at the point now where it's like if we were to fail, it's because of us, not external factors.
Yeah.
Because I reckon like say during COVID, you could say it was COVID that did it. Now it's like if you go under, it's like you can see why it happened. It's because this person do that. this thing went wrong, and so let's that. Again. So I reckon. I know we're going to be fine, but I reckon it's going to be so challenging.
But yeah, we do keep saying it's like a make or break here.
Oh yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it
I
is.
think it's because we know what our potential is. Like, we know what we're capable of. I don't think there's any point where any of us are like, yeah, we'll see how it goes. It might work, might not. Like, we all know this business is fully capable of being a super successful business. It's just making sure that we're doing what we can to get it to that point.
To keep on going.
Yeah, keep the ball rolling.
In the
Keep that
right
momentum.
way.
Exactly.
No sellouts.
No.
No.
This is by the next podcast, James has sold his shirts. He's like, I'm quite physically sold out.
Who's gonna say this is the gold now if I'm not?
We'll just get a voice recording of you every time. We'll get AI to do it.
Oh no.
Yeah, your job's replaced by AI. Sorry to tell you.
So will the rest of the world soon. All right, on that note,
Yeah.
shall we?
Another successful podcast.
Until next time.
Hey.
Bye.
Yeah.
Whoa.